Yay! Now you're recording. All right. So if I, yay, I was, my laptop is kind of weird. So if I start to cut out and sound like a robot, will you guys put it in the chat and just say, hey, Kim, you sound like a robot? Awesome. So it does this weird thing. Hi, I am Kim Cain, and I am so excited to be on tonight. I'm a triple diamond with It Works, and I have been with the company now for 6.5 years, and I get to work this business whenever I want, how I want, with who I want, and it's the most fun I have ever had in my life. So I'm only 29 years old. I just turned 29 on the 12th, and I joined this business then when I was
Happy
20.
birthday, happy
Oh, thank you.
birthday to you. Hey.
It was fun. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're 29." I'm like, "Why are you upset for me? I'm excited about 20. What 30s are about to be lit. Like 20s were great, but 30s are going to be crazy." So you guys, so I just turned 29, which means that I started this when I was 22. So I've literally grown as an adult, I feel like, through this business, and it has been so much fun. I never thought that I would do anything like this, and here I am killing it, and it's just been awesome. So I'm gonna try to ignore the chat. It totally distracts me, but I started this business because I was actually being evicted, and I thought, I'm only 22 and this is what life looks like already. Like I grew up, for those of you who don't know, I have 8 siblings and they're all real life siblings. They all came from my mom. I'm asked that all the time. Are they step? Are they, what's going on there? So no, they are all, I had 8 siblings growing up and life was really rough. I remember eating SpaghettiOs and mac and cheese like all the time. She was a single parent to all of us. And it was rough growing up. We've lived in homeless shelters. We've lived in 2-bedroom trailers. So I thought, okay, that was that life because my mom had 9 kids, right? It makes it quote unquote okay. But then when I was in my 20s, just starting to have my own family, I thought, whoa, wait a minute, I'm doing that. Like I'm repeating the pattern, and I'm not okay with it. And I'm so happy that I saw it, I confronted it, and I put my foot down. And I was like, this is not what I asked for. So at 22 years old, I actually had my first kid. Eric was born, and so he was 1 month old when I joined the business, you guys. I was not looking for this. In fact, we were dirt poor, obviously. I was working 60 hours a week at a factory that I hated, and no one appreciated. Who, like, just drop a 1 in the comments if you work at a factory. It sucks. No one appreciates you. No one knows your first name. No one cares that you need time off. No one cares that you celebrate Christmas. They don't care about that. They want you to make their parts, and they want you to do so many an hour and not talk and have 10-minute breaks and move on about your day. It sucked, but I thought that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life because I got out of high school about a year and a half late. And I thought, okay, with no college, I have no college degree. I have no experience in anything. So I will settle for this. I worked in a lot of fast food and gas stations prior to that. So I'm like, this is great. I mean, 401k, health coverage, like, yay. I didn't know that there was more out there. So at the age of 22, with a 1 month old baby and a full-time factory job with a lot of life going on, I said yes to the business because one of my friends at the time invited me to a one team, one mission event, which is now a triad event. There was over 200 people there, and I thought, yes, I will come for the free wrap. So I literally went for the free wrap because my kid was just born, and I was like, okay, yeah, I confirm Titan and Tone, let's do it. And I was that person that walked in with my tiny baby. I was wearing a Duck Dynasty hoodie. I don't even like Duck Dynasty, but it fit. Okay. I used to have as much hair as Kelsey did, and I had it like everywhere except for like, it was horrible. I walked in and I looked homeless, and I was like, oh, you did not tell me there was going to be this many people here. Not that I care. I wouldn't have changed. Let's be honest. So I walked in and I'm like, this is so crazy. You guys are all drinking the Kool-Aid, but like, okay, I'll put the wrap on. Thank you. Appreciate it. I had no money. So I'm like, if this is what I got to do. And I stood at the back of the room, and I was that person. You can ask him. I was talking the entire time. I didn't care about what the people on stage had to say. I wasn't there for the products. I wasn't there for the culture. And then I was actually an atheist when I joined the business. So they kept talking about God. They kept giving him the glory. And then they mentioned that it was faith-based. And I was like, and that's a wrap. Like, I'm good. Y'all are crazy with your black, green, and bling. So I was completely actually turned off by the company, but I thought that's pretty cool that you have a wrap that does that for people. So I kind of wrote it off. Cammie Pentecost was there, Stephanie and Joel Dunn were there, and I had no idea who they were. I was like, cool, okay. And then it took this one lady getting on stage, and she started talking about how she had just hit Diamond, and she talked about all the stuff she was able to do now and the things she was able to accomplish. And I was like, wait a minute. I heard the money, and I was like, wait a minute. If she, wait. Like, I literally shut up. I was like, if she can do that in that amount of time from home, why am I like, for those of you who don't know me, I tell this story all the time, but I was sitting on my couch at 8 months pregnant, bawling my eyes out because I'm like, I have to go back to work. Like, you expect me, where am I going to take my kid? Like, daycare is so expensive. I don't want to, you guys, I'm very protective of my kids. Very, like, to a point. Kelsey, like, I'm psycho. So she makes fun of me. I am a psycho. So I'm like, wait, you're telling me I have to like leave my kid with somebody, even family? No, no. But I'm like, okay, like, this is life, you know? So I was bawling on my couch, and I didn't know it, but I was praying. I didn't know that. And God was listening. So he believed in me even when I didn't believe in him. He put me in that room at that One Team, One Mission that night on purpose. I like having that come back into full circle. Like, I literally, when I sat down and thought about it a couple years ago, I was like, he put me in that room, bro. He put me in that room. Like, I can't believe how good he is, because I wasn't even looking. I wasn't looking for anything like this, but I was praying for an opportunity to not go back to work. I looked up online jobs, and they were all a joke. And so I gave up. I'm like, this is a joke. Okay. But he put me in that room, even though, like, he literally did that for me. And I said yes that night with every reason to say no. I was broke. I had no experience. I was busy. I was an atheist. They were talking about how it's a faith-based company, and every reason to say no. And I still looked at my friend, and I was like, I mean, well, okay. What have I got to lose? Like, I'm losing my home. Like, I'm literally in the process of an eviction. And so I thought, okay, let's do it. So I actually got my first short-term disability paycheck that day because I was off of work due to my high-risk pregnancy. And so I got my first disability paycheck that day, and it was $205, a whole $205. I took 99 of that, and I was like, let's do it. And within 5 months, I remember just being so excited for the opportunity that I was just so excited that I didn't have to know everything. I just told everyone, and I didn't have any friends. So I just told everybody on my Facebook. I had a whole like 300 friends on Facebook. My family really still doesn't support me, some of them, so I didn't like go running to them. But I told everyone on Facebook. I told everyone at my factory job. Some of them made fun of me, but some of them did order, or some of them did join. And I was just super geeked. And within 5 months, I went diamond, and I thought, okay, deuces. Like, if I can do this, I'm good. I don't want to. My boss called me Stephanie, y'all. That's how I knew, like, it's done. I'm done working here. My name is not Stephanie. He was like, Merry Christmas, Stephanie. I'm like, I'm out. I gotta go. Like, you guys suck. So I quit because I'm like, dude, if I can make more money doing this than I can at the factory and raise my own children. Now I have 2 kids. So I fired my boss, a couple months into this business because I knew where I was going, and I was like on fire for it, and I wasn't going to stop. And then I went triple diamond in 2016, and that was like, holy, I thought that was for unicorns. And now I have 2 beautiful children, Eric and Lucy. They're almost 5 and 7, and I get to we had a girls' day today, and it was the best thing ever. And I got to drop money that when I first joined this company, yeah, right, that was money I could have spent on groceries or diapers or whatever. And I got to just take Lucy and go have fun and spend the money that we wanted to and just have a great night. And so being the full-time mom that I prayed to be is the best part of this business, and finding God, that too.
I love you so much, seriously. And I think it's so crazy. And I would actually love if you guys have a story or some moment, like when her boss called her Stephanie, something immediately popped in my head of like something not similar, but something of that nature happened at a work where you just realize there's no relationship. There's no authenticity in, I'm not saying their work relationships can't be developed, but like the actual care, right? Like I remember one of my jobs, my grandma passed away, they asked for the obituary for proof to like go to the funeral. And I was like, are you like, are you serious? And it's one of those things where you just realize like, this isn't an opportunity. And yeah, so Kirsten said, you need to get to the shop and open it up to make money for me. Having no, like, just these stories. And I'm sure each of you has a story where you just realize this isn't where I'm meant to be. This isn't where I'm meant to be. This isn't where God wants me to be. These people don't care about me. And so I love that you shared that. And I love just how you talked about how you were praying and you didn't even know it, and God heard you and he was pursuing you. Even when you weren't pursuing him, and even when you didn't want him. So can you kind of share, I love the story when you're like in your car, that story. Can you share the story? It's my favorite story.
You remember that? Heck yes, I can. So I actually like the way you put it more than I have ever put it. Yes, he was pursuing me when I wasn't even pursuing him. That's a good way to put it. I literally had no idea I was praying. I always said like, oh, I was just thinking about how badly I wanted. No, I was praying and he heard me, even though I wasn't like, I wasn't even trying. So yes, I'd love to tell that story. So I joined this business in hopes of making enough money to pay for literally diapers. I was like, if I can just, oh my God, those are so expensive. So if I could just pay for diapers and put gas in my car, that's it. Like, that's cool that that girl on stage is making what she's making. And that totally lit a fire in me. I was like, that's amazing. But if I could just pay for diapers and put gas in my car, because I don't know if you guys have ever been here, but I worked 30 minutes away from my factory job. So on Fridays, I would literally call in sometimes because I was like, I had enough gas to get there Monday through Thursday, but not Friday. Like, or I can go get some cans and return them and pray I make it. And I have literally ran out of gas multiple times on the way home from work because I didn't have direct deposit. So that's real story. That's real life. So my point is, I thought I would join this for diapers and gas money. And little did I know, like, I would actually find God and grow my relationship there. And I wasn't even trying to. But I put it this way. I was so ignorant. Like, I wasn't agnostic. I was atheist. So I was like, God, I mean, I blasphemy, you know, I wore shirts that let you know that if I don't believe in God, I don't like him. I don't like the picture of him, the image of him. You guys are crazy. You know, I was rude. And people would always say, if Kim walked into a church, she would burst into flames. Like, I used to wear shirts that said 666, number of the beast. Like, I was literally the opposite of a Christian. So when I joined this company, I always tell people, I think he couldn't make me, I wouldn't listen. I was being ignorant and I wasn't letting him in. So I said, listen, if you're not going to let me do it, like, I will bring my children to you. I will give you the right people, the right circumstances, the right platform. And it works. And literally, I kept showing up to trainings. I kept showing up to events. I kept showing up to, you know, my leaders' houses. And I was like, man, y'all talk about him a lot. Like, he's real. Like he's a real person. You guys are nuts. But the more that they would talk about just the things he's done in their life, the glory that they kept giving him, the Bible verses they kept sharing, the things that people just said on stage, and then to hear, you know, Mark and Cindy and you know, Cammie even, and people on stage, that's when I used to go to a lot of OTOMs, and I constantly, and so it kind of just, he was opening my heart, he was softening my heart and just helping me to be more open, that's all. And so when I left from a training event, actually, I remember getting into my black Impala that was like falling apart, and I had an hour drive back home because I'm from Grand Rapids, but I was in Lansing, and that's an hour drive. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on the highway. And I just remember, instead of turning up the jams, I just completely turned off the music. It was dead silent. It was pitch black. And I was like, all right, God, if you're real, I'm inviting you in. If you're real, if this is something that, you know, these people are talking about, and you're someone who's done this in their life, and you're someone I can actually turn to and look up to and find, you know, peace in, because I was very anxious. I was a very anxious and just mad and angry person. So I remember opening the conversation in my car, and I was like, if you're real, let's do this. Like, it was, I'm like, let's go. Let's make it happen. Show me who you are, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. And so I did. I let him in that night, but it took he's been transforming my heart ever since. And now you go to my Facebook page and you're like, oh, she is so Christian. Like, she is such a Bible thumper. No, I'm kidding. But I thought all Christians were these like just judgmental Judies, and I just wasn't into it. But I didn't know that I was just looking at the wrong people. I was looking at the wrong people. So what he showed me the most in myself is that it's okay to be who you are and love God. It's okay to look different and tell people that you still love Christ, because it helps people to know that you don't have to be a certain someone in order to be a child of God. To be a Christian, you don't have to be a certain someone doing certain things. You just have to have a heart for Jesus, and that's what I have. So I opened up the conversation that night in my car, but it took a while for me. I'm talking like a couple years for me to like come out of my Christian closet, is what I call it, because it was embarrassing. I mean, I listened to like satanic music and death metal, and my friends that I did have, which were very few, were like, "What? You found who? Like, that's what? You're crazy." And I had to cut ties with those relationships because they weren't serving me. They weren't fun. I hardly saw them anyway. And it was, I mean, coming out and telling my family, I mean, my siblings were like, "You do?" Because a lot of my siblings didn't really, and now some of them do, but they were like, "What do you mean? Why? That's crazy." And just reading the Bible helped me to understand that he was a real person. He was a real person. Like, he just, and that's what's hard. That was hard for me to believe. He was a real person who walked this earth just like us and did things that we can't even fathom and died for us. And I didn't realize it was such a real, true story. I thought of him as a ghost. I thought of him as just this thing that people worship. He was a real person that came down here, died for us, lived like us into his 30s. And so I didn't realize there's a story behind it. There are people in the Bible telling stories on his behalf. That's what it's about. I had to learn. I had to open up. So it took me a good couple of years to come out of my Christian closet. And then I only started going to church about 3 years ago. And I remember walking in and I was like, if they look at me once and judge me once, I'm gonna have to dip. Like, I will not be, but I want to learn more. And where do you learn about God? His house. Like, where do you go to figure out who this dude is? And I remember calling my sister and I'm like, okay, tell me more about this Jesus guy, because everybody talking about him. I just want to know, like, give me details. And she was coming into her Christianity too. So I'm like, just let's talk about him. And going to church was where I really started to grow even more. And I remember walking into my church and I'm like, oh my God, they were so accepting. And I mean, I'm covered in tattoos. I looked like a single parent because Joe was not with me. I mean, I look lesbian. So I'm like, if they look at me once, I dress different, I talk different, I act different. And they were so welcoming and inviting. And now they're some of my best friends. They're some of my, they're family to me now. And I thought, and so I started going to a Bible study and I dug even deeper and got more personal and intimate with a few ladies. And it has been the coolest journey. So Eli and Trista always say, like, you, even if you make no more money with the company, like, you win, you found God. And I'm like, it's true. Yes, I'm going to keep hustling and keep making money. Yes. But like, I got God out of this. And that's huge for me. That's huge.
I freaking love it. It's like so good. It gets me hyped like every single time. I don't care. I can listen to your story like all day. I just get like so hyped because it's just so true, and understanding that like you're never too far gone. Like, you're never too far off. Like, it's never too late. Like, just knowing. And that's not just true in faith, because if you have God, he can do that in your business. He can do that in your relationship. He can do that in your marriage. He can do that with your kids. Like, he can do it in every aspect of your life if you let him in. And so I want to know, what has that transformation for you spiritually, how has that helped your business?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a good question. So people always ask me, like, what's your favorite personal development? The Bible. Like, everything in this life revolves around him, because at the end of the day, I want to be up there in heaven partying with my dad and my family and him and all the people there. That's where I want to end up. So like, at the end of the day, everything that I do on this earth, it's fun and it's great, and I got to make the best of it because we get this one life that he blessed us with. But I also need to do everything revolving around his word, around what, I'm not perfect. Oh my gosh, no, I'm not perfect. I'm not, but I feel like in every aspect of my life, if you apply, I know I sound crazy, but I don't know how else to put it. If you apply scripture and stuff like that to everything that you're doing, everything will be good. It will be as perfect as it can be. And I noticed that throughout my day, you guys, I have anxiety. I take Confianza every single day. That's one product I don't think gets enough credit. I take it every single day, 2 pills every morning. People are like, oh, just take it as needed. Morning, as soon as I wake up and open my eyes, sometimes twice a day. But like, I have 2 kids, they're crazy, and I have anxiety. And like, I always say, like, I love Jesus, but I also throw hands. People get on my nerves. Like, some of his children be acting up. So I have to like, whoo. And so sometimes the old Kim comes out, and that's okay. That's okay. That's who I am. But I'm an anxious person. And so if I tell people, like, I will have the most anxious day where I'm snapping I'm snapping at my kids more. I'm not believing in myself more. I feel this cloud sometimes. I feel like, can I even do this? And you know why? It's probably because it's literally always because in the morning, I didn't give him my time first. And so if you are applying scripture, if you're just sitting in his word for even, I mean, come on, if you got 10 minutes in the morning, that's fine. But 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, I don't care. But if you're giving him your time first before you start your day, like, you are going to have such an amazing and just such a smoother, he gives you rest, he gives you peace, he rids your anxiety. He gives you what you need. You don't even have to, like, just go sit with him. You don't even have to be specific. He knows your heart, he knows what's going on, he knows. So just all he's asking for is your time. So I feel like in your business, in your life, in your motherhood, in your fatherhood, whatever it might be, whatever you're tackling or taking on for the day, I don't care your age, I don't care what you're going through, I care about it, but it doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If you give him the time of day, he literally gives you exactly what you need. He is God. He can do all things. And so you just have to trust that. And that was hard for me in the beginning, was trusting that, like, okay, this person that I can't even see is going to do all these things for me. That's having faith. Look up the definition of what faith is, and then have it. Go ahead and have it. Like, he will literally restore everything. So I've noticed that when I just spend, even just when I was going through some stuff, like a couple months ago, I actually did a live about it, you guys. And it was like, I literally, sometimes you guys, I love God and I know he's real, but sometimes he still takes me. I mean, I'm like, no, you did not. Like, no, you did not. I know you're real, but like, are you in this room with me? And yeah, he probably is. But like, sometimes I'm shocked. I'm shocked at what he can do. And I was having a moment, you can find the live video, but a couple months ago, I finally had my first Corona breakdown. I'm like, this is bull. I'm over it. Like, I'm a very optimistic, positive person. So ever since the whole mask thing and the whole Corona thing has been happening, I've been like, it's fine. It's fine. God is in control. It's fine. Everything's fine. You have nothing to worry about. Okay, it's true, but you are still human. You are still flesh, and his little demons are out here making everything my voice. Oh my goodness. Sometimes, like, God is in here. Okay, so that's why I know this is protected. God is in here. Okay, but like Satan, he does everything outside. He what's the words? He influences you differently, and he does it through people, circumstances, things, feelings. And so I was feeling like, okay, Satan, like, not today. And I was just having my first little Corona breakdown where I was like, this isn't fair. This is not fair. Why do my kids have to be here during this whole thing? Why did I have to have little children through this? Why couldn't they be grown? Well, I was just having all these thoughts of, like, going back to school and all these things. And I just, like, most people don't do this, and I wish that they would. Well, some people do, some people don't, but stop what you're doing and just look at scripture. Just look at scripture, start praying, whatever you need to do. And that's what I did. And I'm not kidding you. He delivered a word that I'm like, oh, okay. Like, there was no way. And the overwhelming sense of peace and just affirming that I got from that, I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. If we would approach, and it's in my video, the scripture was insane. I couldn't believe, I'm like, oh my God, you are literally speaking to me. And that applies to your business, whatever it might be. If you're going through, like, I can't promote, what is happening? Why aren't people joining? Why aren't people taking off when they get started? What is it that I'm doing wrong? If you would just apply scripture to your business, if you would journal out your thoughts, pray more. And then, where did I see it today? I think it was Joel Dunn posted, say it out loud, like, God, I'm willing to work for the things that I'm praying for. He's right there. He's got the blessing sitting right there, right behind, and it's right here in his hand, but we're not willing to work for the things that we're praying for. And so what I started doing, and what I still am working on, is applying scripture and just making sure that in all things that I do, I'm doing it through Christ and giving him the glory, and knowing that if something's not working out exactly the way that I want it to, it's because there's something either different or better. Like, and I'm talking about the people that I'm enrolling, the people that I'm training, the people that are on my chart. I've had to remove people and pray through that. Like, listen, I don't want to remove these people, God, but what? And just removing them from my chart, knowing that I'm taking away, but he's given me better. He's given me more. He's given me, what's the word? Quality, and trusting in that process. So if there's not, I've gone through circumstances where I'm like, this is not working out the way that I wanted it to. It's because, first of all, it's not in your hands. It's always in his, but like, it's not in your control. Nothing is. And we try to have control of things, and that just makes it worse. But Eric's schooling situation 2 years ago, I'm like, this is not what it was supposed. I mean, different school, different principal, different teacher. It was horrible. I bawled. And then I had to send him to a different school. I had no choice. And I was like, oh, it's because you had something better in mind. My bad. Like, I was throwing a fit, and he was like, would you just trust me? Like, would you just shut up and trust me? I was so mad because I wasn't in control. And he provided, I mean, I can't even explain, and that applies to your business too. If it's not what you want, it's because he's got something better. Stop trying to force it, and just let it flow. Have fun with it. Let it flow. You'll get the right people on your team. You'll start training the right people on your team. You'll replace those people on your chart. It'll be all for his good and yours too.
I love it so much. And if you can't relate to what she's saying from a business standpoint, maybe you haven't seen, like, maybe what you're going through right now feels so heavy that you can't see that light. I always use the analogy of relationships. How many times have you cried because of a breakup that you thought was the freaking end of your life? And then you're like, oh, that one, this one was not it. And this was what you had for me had I just trusted you. And sometimes through the darkest times, we see his light the most, right? And if you don't go through some of those dark times, you can't appreciate the good times in the same way, right? Because if everything's always good, then you have nothing to say, oh, this is it, right? Like, this is really God. But life is like this. And on our prayers, we have a prayer Zoom every morning, Monday through Friday. And one of the things that we were talking about is how life is a series of ups and downs, like a heartbeat. And what happens if it's like this? You're dead. So don't expect it or want it to be like this, because this is what makes the journey beautiful. So even if it's hard, I know it's hard. Listen, I'm a hothead. I can get mad. Like, I can yell at FedEx just as good as the next person. Okay. But I think that understanding that, like, God always does have it in control of what's better for us, even if it doesn't feel better in the now. Right? So let's get to some business questions, because I love it. I mean, I could talk about God all day, and this could be like a 4-hour Zoom, and we could just hold church right here if we wanted to. But yeah. So I want to ask some questions. So what does, like, your kind of routine look like with new DTs, and getting them started with excitement, with energy, and kind of sustaining that energy?
Yes, good question. And I love how you said that, because when it does apply to this business, sorry, kind of going back, when it does apply to this business, that's so true. If I didn't go through downs and valleys and darkness in this business, I would be there for my team who's nothing to do with stuff. And like, he always is, he's going to take you through that. I don't know. That just sounds really good. He's going to take you through that and take you through that. Or I always tell my team, like, when you feel, oh, I'm robot. Okay. Is that better? Or
Yes.
Okay. I have to click a button. That's all. But anyway, that was just really good. And I appreciate the darkness that I've gone through in my life, in my business, because it's made me who I am today. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I loved how you talked about that. But getting new distributors started, so that's one of my favorite things to do. And if you ever feel like your business is not as exciting, or it's lacking, or oh my gosh, like what is happening? It's probably that you're not enrolling new distributors. I have to get new blood started every single month. First of all, because you just should, it's a part of your steps to success, but also it literally, it lights a different fire in you. You're like, this is so exciting. They're excited about their 6 customers. They're excited about their shopping spree they're about to get, all of their first small victories that lead to big ones. They're just excited, and you need that kind of excitement in your business, period. Whether you're the one enrolling them, you're helping your team enroll them, but it is in your steps to enroll at least 3 distributors a month. So getting them started is huge for me. I want them to feel like this is the thing. I want my team to know that I didn't just enroll you. My name is Kim Cain. I have 2 kids. I love Jesus, and I want to be your friend. Like, let's be friends. I've got you as a person. One of my favorite things to do is get to know them on a Zoom, like just because. Like, I give them like 20 minutes. I'm like, I just want to see. They're like, oh, what are we going to Zoom about? No, I just want to get to know you. Like, I want you to see my face. I want you to see mine. If they're local, let's go meet up for coffee real quick one day, just to kind of get to know each other, so that you know your people on a more personal level. So that doesn't take long. So the first thing I do is just scheduling that one-on-one Zoom. And I love that all I have to do is come down to my office. I give them 20, 30 minutes. We just talk, we chat. I figure out, what do you do for a living? Why did you want to do this anyway? What is it about It Works or my journey that made you say yes? Because once they talk about that, they're like, okay, yes. Like, and they remember that. They remember what we talked about. And when you create friendships, it's so much harder for someone to leave a friend than a business partner. It's so much harder for someone to just be like, I'm gonna dip out. I'm not gonna answer your texts. I'm not gonna answer your messages. It's so much harder for a friend to do that than a business partner. So I wanna become friends with those people. And of course, some people that join you guys are gonna go into witness protection like immediately. That's not your problem. That's not your fault. That happens. It's okay. But if you can form that friendship right away, I'm not saying like make friendship bracelets, send them, wear them. I'm not saying that, but like get them on a Zoom, get coffee with them, whatever it is, and just get to know them. But right away, I'm also making sure they always enroll themselves, because I want them to see that welcome video from Mark. I think it's special. I think it's cool. It also reminds them to download the Connect app. So I remind them, hey, did you see that? Go ahead, download the Connect app. That is super helpful. It reminds you of all of our calls, our, this, that, Zooms, things that we have going on with the company. But it's also great for watching your training videos, which I want you to get started right away. Those training videos, and I tell them, those training videos will answer questions that you didn't even know you had. Like, so start those right away. I love what the company puts together for us, so like utilize that. And I tell them, you don't have to, I'm not giving you like a deadline, but I want you to start them. Because once you start them, you won't want to finish. They're quick. It's simple. Let me know though when you are done, and I hope they're helpful. So, okay, so that's something that I do. And then I also have a welcome video that I have them watch, and I just say, hey, as soon as you're done with that, I'll put you in my VIP Facebook team page. Just let me know as soon as you're done. I'm not going to remind them. They always get it right done, because they're like, yeah, I want in there. So they watch that welcome video, and then I immediately put them, I say, was it helpful? Yes, it was. Awesome. They go on my Facebook page, and I welcome them there, because you want them to feel like immediately like they're part of a community. So there's that team camaraderie. They're like, oh, they get all these welcomes. They're like, this is so cool. Thank you guys. They feel like, wow, I have other people here with me on this journey. It's not just me. And so I like to welcome them. And then the very next day, usually,
Sorry, no. You're actually good, but what you're saying is so good. And one of the things that I want to point out, okay, that she's saying, this is so key. So Kim is, you guys know, right? Drop a 2 in the comments if you feel her energy. If you're like, oh my God, I love her. Like, her energy is so good. Like, if you feel it, okay? So all of you do. I know you all do. So look, all the 2s are coming. But what I want you guys to understand is that she is helping that person have a good experience by asking questions that she wants to emphasize points on. So she just said, how many of you guys have welcomed somebody to the team page? They get like 8 or 10 comments, like a decent number of comments to the team page, and they didn't even say, wow, I feel so welcomed. They didn't say that, right? And so you're like, right? And so you're over here like, why didn't they're not excited? Why aren't they excited? Instead of just doing what Kim just casually said that none of you guys picked up on is, hey, don't you feel so welcome? Don't you love the energy of our team page? And emphasizing what you want them to see. Do you see how she's leading them into how to think, and not in like a manipulative way, just in these are the things that I want you to focus on. So I'm going to ask these questions that are going to reinforce the positive things that you might not know how to say to me. Because I'm going to be honest, I was hyped when I got welcomed on the team page, but I didn't want to seem like I was like this like overly awkwardly excited girl. So I didn't say anything. However, if somebody had asked me, dude, didn't you love all the welcomes you got? Like, don't you love our team? Then I would have been like, oh my gosh, yes, I felt so included. Therefore, reinforcing my own feelings to feel that way even more and to be more excited. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Drop a 3 if that makes sense, because I want to make sure that like that made some sort of sense, because I think we sometimes feel like, oh, it's this one message that we send. It's this one script that we have. It's this one step that we're missing. It's your energy, bro. It's your energy that you're giving off on a consistent basis for how you want somebody to feel. First off, for all of you like red greens out there, I'm sorry if this, because this is not you, but we're women and you have to deal in feelings a lot of times. And so if you want somebody to be excited, it's not something like, hey, I need you to be excited. It's something of, hey, what can I help you get excited about? That's really what Kim is doing when she says all of these things, right? Like, oh my gosh, was that video so helpful? Emphasis on the video being helpful, positive. Hey, oh my gosh, isn't our CEO so awesome? Emphasis, corporate, positive. Weren't those training videos, didn't they answer questions that they didn't even know that you had? Emphasis, positive. Do you guys see that you could have the same exact steps that Kim has? Because I'm sure some of y'all are thinking, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. But why are my people doing anything? Because you're expecting them to have that energy when you don't even have it. When you don't even have it. You're over here talking about your anxiety and your depression and expecting them to bring you out of it when you're the one that signed them, that you have to give your energy to them. And I'm not saying that I know this because I've done this. That's the only reason I can speak on it, right? Is because I've done the bad side of things. And so now I know how to correct and realize that like the energy, not any tasks, not any videos, not anything, is way more important. And so you can see, and she doesn't even probably realize that she's doing it, right? But because she has just that positive energy, people want to be around her. Because I bet you right now you could name 5 more people off the top of your head that are negative than positive in your life. And so the people who are positive, you want time with them. You want energy with them. And so that's where they're going to keep coming. They're going to say to you, hey, I want this. And she's emphasizing the positive things. Does that make sense? And I just wanted to point that out. I didn't mean to interrupt you because I want you to keep going because this is really good. But I think it's so crucial for people for me too, to just remind myself like, dang, we can go searching for this amazing process, but if it's not presented with energy, with positivity, with excitement, then it ain't really going to change much. So go ahead. Sorry. I don't even know where
that was really good. I never did really realize that I'm putting emphasis on the positive things. And so it's true. You want the kind of energy. All right, I'm gonna be a little bit funny for just a second. You want to give your new team members that same energy that when girls go to a bar and they get white girl wasted and then they're like, let's go to the bathroom. And you're so nice to each other in the bathroom. Like, girl, you look so good today. You look so pretty. Like, that's the kind of energy you want on your team. And you want them to feel that connection that drunk girls do in the bathroom. Okay. That's the kind of energy you want on your team. And that's what I want them to feel immediately. Like, I'm not just your enroller and your upline. I am your friend. I'm here for you. And Kelsey made a good point on my bad days, because we all have them. Okay. I have 2 kids that stress me out. We're all living in COVID life right now. And so you have your days where you're like, oh my goodness, and I don't speak to nobody when I feel that way. I don't need to exude that. I don't need to show that energy. I always want to bring my best self to the table. So like, it's okay, by the way, to put your phone down and go get your mind right and come back to it. But, and that's what I do. But that's what I'm doing. I'm putting them in my team page. They're feeling immediately welcome. They're like, those comments were awesome. Some of them are like, oh my God, thank you. this was so sweet. And then the very next day, usually, because I'm like, you know, we're just excited that they're on the team. We've gotten on a Zoom probably because they're excited. It's fresh. They're fresh. They're just getting started. So I try to get them on a Zoom like that very same day or the next day, because I want them to know, like, we're doing this. All right. You can do this. You're going to have moments where you think you can't, but we're going to do it. Especially with all the incentives that the company constantly has for us, you guys, like, it's crazy. So after that, though, the very next day, we are immediately hopping on the host to post bandwagon, because I want them to see the immediate, you want to help your team, again, feel welcomed. They want to feel like, wow, this is great. This is great. But then you also want them to have those small wins of signing their first customer, then their second, then their third, getting their first distributor started, whatever. You want them to have those first small wins, because I tell them, if you can do it once, you can do it again and again and again and again. And guess what that leads to? It leads to duplication. It leads to building your team. It leads to filling out your steps to success. And then guess what? You're diamond, you're ruby, you're double. And so if you can do it once, you can do it again. Now you can teach people to do that. If you've done it, now you can teach it. So I congratulate them big time. I hype them up. When they get their first customer, first two, whatever it is, I hype them up. I'm like, no, you did not. No, you did not. Like, I literally am like so excited for them, because I teach them. I'm sitting there with them through Messenger or text or whatever it is, and I'm helping them do host to post. I always have them start with that brand new to host to post video on YouTube with Rachel Jones. I do have them watch that first, so that they have just like a general idea. It's very short, so I have them watch that, and I'm like, we're about to do host to post, watch this video real quick, and then we're just gonna hop right into it. You don't need to know all of the ins and outs. We're literally going to do it. You'll learn along the way. So I'm telling them, go post this on your page. Perfect. Now go say this. All right, now go say that. Once they've enrolled their first customer, which really doesn't take long. If you're doing host to post and they're actually messaging the people with you, they're going to enroll their first customer that day. And if not, like within the first hour, and they're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I sealed it. And I teach them in that moment, because I like to upsell. So I'll also help them with my upsell script. And, you know, I explain to them, hey, our products go so much better hand in hand. And so they're upselling, they're getting bigger orders, and they're like, I can do this. So the very next day usually is when we're going to do host to post together. But also, you know, I don't treat it, I'm not like by the books, but also have them reach out to people about the opportunity. Like, hey, by the way, who do you know that could use some extra income and is always on social media? Like, who do you know? I mean, come on, we all know people. So I'll tell them, just go share the opportunity with them. Explain to them why you got started. Maybe get them on our next, you know, Facebook Live or Facebook party that we're having. Maybe get them on a 3-way call with me. Whatever it is, I want to help them enroll their first team member, because there's excitement in getting new customers started, but there's like hella excitement when you sign up your first team member that's now in the Facebook page with you. You're both hustling from your phone. Now you're doing this with someone. So it's not just, I mean, you're doing it with the whole team, but now you've got someone directly signed up with you, and you're like, this is so cool. I can't dip out right away. Maybe they'll still dip out later. Who knows? We don't know, but they're going to feel more likely. It's going to be more likely that they show up to the Zooms, that they're showing up for that person under them too. It's going to be this whole different, just heartbeat in their business immediately. And that's what you want. So some people, now this doesn't go this way every single time, but you're going to find your next you by at least giving them the time of day when they first get started. And those first 48 hours, I feel like, are pretty crucial in making sure that you're just getting them started off on the right foot and knowing that you're there for them, tagging them and everything. After that, you guys, they just need to plug in. Like, they need to be plugging into everything that they can. And I always remind them that you can't do everything, but you can do anything. So please write down all the things that you think you can do. You know, I show them, or I give them a picture that I've made of all of our things they can plug into for Zooms. And we have a few things a week. So I'm like, listen, this is every way that you can plug in on my team. Of course, there's going to be other stuff hosted by other leaders in corporate, but this is what I host. And I recommend getting on anything that you can. They're never very long. Sometimes it's income producing activities. Sometimes it's a training, whatever it might be. But as long as you're helping them plug in after all of that, and they're continuing to learn and grow and develop with you, I mean, there's nothing like hearing other people's stories. And so just having them stay plugged in is like all you can do. It's all you can do as a leader, is making sure they're showing up. That's on them, not you. That's on them. Like, you have to show up to go up, and your business is yours. You're in it for yourself, but you're never by yourself. So just know that, like, we're in this together, we're doing it together, but I can't work your business for you, but I will work it with you. So come show up, be a part of the conversation, do what you can. I'm not going to scold you for not getting onto everything, but do what you can and make them feel welcomed, and not like slapping them on the wrist because they didn't show up to their first Zoom or whatever it might be. Just help them, coach them, let them know, set those reminders, put them in your alarms, whatever you got to do, but get them plugged into stuff.
And I love that you said get them plugged in, because I think sometimes we just assume that people see stuff on the team page. But I know, like, I've tagged people before and they're like, thank you so much for tagging me. Like, I thought you totally forgot about me. Or like, thank you. Like, and just like reminding them and holding them accountable to getting on the Zooms, even if it's somebody that like, you're like, you haven't talked to in a while, but you just, they came popped into your head, like tag them. Like, it is important that you are asking personally instead of just posting it and assuming that they're seeing. Okay. That is so crucial. That is your responsibility as a leader. It's not to say, oh, why didn't they see that on the team page? That stuff is posted on the team page. You know how much stuff is posted on the dang team page? So much stuff. I get lost without the search bar. Okay. So I think that just recognizing that, okay, what's one thing that you wish you would have done at the beginning, or you wish you knew when you started?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna start asking people that on my Zooms, because oh man, what do I wish I would have done or would have known? I guess I wish I would have, well, first of all, when I went diamond, you guys, I literally went diamond with it was just like me and my sister hustling. And we went emerald and diamond, and I treated that like I showed up, I've arrived, like everybody, your work here is done. We've done it. Like, bye. Like, our work here is over and done. No, I was so ignorant, you guys. I was like, I immediately, I saw the vision, I got excited, and I was like, I can go diamond. Like, I can go diamond. Let's do it. So we did in 5 months, and I did not treat my team like a team. I treated them like just boxes on my chart. And I was like, I need you to do this. And if you don't, like, I'm gonna do it for you. And that's still, we build, right? We build, that's a normal thing. But I was not treating my team like a team. I was treating them like boxes. And I thought, okay, once I get to diamond, like, cool, like, I'm just gonna cool out. It's just gonna be super cool. I'm gonna keep getting that residual paycheck. No, you're not. Sorry about that. Sorry to burst your bubble. I didn't care about other people. I really didn't. And that comes, of course, with growing, finding God and growing that relationship too. I didn't care about other people and what they wanted from this business. So like, it goes back to welcoming people to your team. Figure out why they want this and really like know that. Pam said it one time, don't necessarily put your team's dreams on your dream board. That's your dream board. So I'm not saying that. And Pam says it all the time, and I can't agree more. But at least know that if you, how do I put it? Like, I'm going presidential diamond. Like, that's my next chart. That's my next goal is presidential diamond. And that means that a lot of people are moving up in rank and making a lot more money. And that is so exciting to me. And if you forget that, like, how do I put this into words? Going presidential, like, just because you made it doesn't mean that other people, they watched you go diamond. And now they're like, I want that. Oh my God, that's so exciting. I want that. But you're like, your fizzle's gone because you did it. And you're like, well, I did it. I don't know. They're going to be like, oh, okay, so I guess I'm not next. Like, that sucks. Make sure your team knows that, like, we're going to keep going. You deserve this too. It's going to benefit my chart as well, but like, you deserve this too. Quit getting people hype and seeing that they can do this too. But then you're like, but I did it. So I'm done. It's all good. I did it. That's all that matters. No, your team is now inspired and ready to go and excited and know that, okay, if she can do it, I can too. So help them. I wish I would have known that, like, the momentum goes away if you just stop caring, stop doing what you were doing, all the things that were working, you just put it aside. So when I went double and triple, that whole team, none of them were from my diamond chart. I had to regrow, relearn, redo, become a better leader. I wish I would have known that you really have to develop your mindset and trust in yourself and trust the process and know that you're going to fail, you're going to fall forward, you're going to do all those things, but you're still going to make it out on top as long as you know exactly why you're hustling and you're helping other people get to the destination as well. It's not just about you.
That's so good. That's so good, because I think it's hard to learn that, and it's actually really hard to admit that. It's hard to admit that you're selfish, because like, nobody wants to be selfish, right? We're just like, no, like, it's good because I'm doing this for my family, so I'm not selfish because it's for my family. Oh, but then it's like, but what about the other people, right? And so the way I like to visualize it, because I'm a very visual person, everybody knows this, but like, it's like you have the machete and you're paving the path. and you're paving the way. And if you have the machete, you're making it doable in a clear path for other people to follow. They still have to walk it, they still have to do it, but you're making the path so much more visible. But if you're not cheering them on and saying, let's go, you got this, here you are, here I am, let's go, I'm right here, then their excitement, they're not going to think that it's worth them being excited, right? Like are you being excited? If you're not excited, then how can they get excited? So I love that. And I think it's so true. My next question is, when you felt like everything you're doing wasn't working, because we've all had those moments where, like, you know, people will say everything I touch turns to gold. Well, sometimes it was like everything I touch turns to coal. What is happening? Like, I am confused. What is happening? Drop a 4 in the comments if you felt like that in your business. You like, this worked like a month ago. What is not working now? Is it me? Am I broke? I'm confused. And so what kind of helped get you back on track, and what moved you when things weren't working?
So, okay, so some of you are gonna say, like, okay, Kim, we can't all do this, but this is a great example. I got on a call with Pam Souter about, I don't know, maybe in April, but what she said applies to everyone. So we were on the phone call, and I was like, Pam, like, I went triple you guys in 2016, okay? We're in 2020. Like, I want to be presidential. What is going on? So I had this moment of like, Pam, what is happening? Like, what is happening? What am I doing wrong? I'm consistently enrolling. I'm consistent. I've always showed up for my business. I am not an excuse maker. I do not say, like, I show up to everything. Like, every in-person training in my area within a 3-hour radius, I'm there. Conference every year, I'm there. I show up on every Zoom that I can. I'm there for my team. I enroll consistently. My steps to success are more every month. So I'm like, Pam, what is happening? And she was like, well, Kim, do you wake up every day thinking about presidential? Like, and she meant that, hope y'all get that. Like, I don't wake up every day and the first thing I think of is presidential, but she goes, do you think of presidential every day? I'm like, yeah, this is what I do. Like, this is what I do. It is exciting to me. I love what I do. I love enrolling new people, training new people. I love what I do. I love the culture of I love it. She goes, well, then it's happening. Like, then it's happening, you know, then it is, but let's figure out like what we can do to make it an easier process, smoother, better. You guys, I literally had to remove people from my chart. I didn't realize that. And that's my journey. Maybe you're like looking at your chart, and if you can relate, then I hope this speaks to you. But I was looking at my chart and I was getting anxious and irritated. And like, I had people on my chart that I knew, and she said this, you guys, like, I had people on my chart that I knew did not even deserve to pop champagne with me when it happened. Why are you helping people promote that aren't even going to be there for the champagne pop? And like, stop doing that. Take them off your chart. And I'm telling you, when I took them off my chart, it was hard. Okay. It was hard because it was people that I'm like, wait, though, they've been here with me like the whole time, almost. Like, what are you talking about? When I took them off of my chart, I took this one person, you guys, and I literally felt this like lift of just, whoo, because I had people under her that deserve this. It meant a little tiny bit more work, but putting her in that spot, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is better. Guess what, you guys? This is how God works, okay? Pray him in, pray him out. This is not a joke. I took that person off my team or off my chart. I was like, okay, that's that. I'm not doing it with you. Wow. That was a lot to take in. The very next day, I had the person who was going to be like a double diamond on my presidential chart say, yeah, I'm a dip. Like, I'm going to a different company. And I'm like, what? And I was like, that's okay. That's okay. Go ahead. Be gone. I got stuff to do. Please stop distracting me. Like, the things that God will do in your business, if you just move aside and let him work. He was like, this is your presidential diamond chart. This is what you're working with. These are the people that are going to do it with you. And Pam said to me, and it felt good, you guys. It felt good. And Pam said to me, she was like, Kim, we talked about my check. We talked about the average of it. And when she said these words to me, I want it tattooed, you guys. She said, Kim, you're doing just enough. So like, when you're doing just enough, you're going to have a just enough team. What does that lead to? Like, that's not going to help you with your end goal of presidential and having that volume and having that massive success. Like, you have a just enough team. You're projecting just enough. And that is not like, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. So like, you guys, stop doing just enough. Like, even though you feel like, man, I've had a killer day, do just a little bit more so that your team shows up a little bit more. Because it was a word. I was like, oh, Pam, ouch. Whew, that made my stomach hurt, but you're right. You're right. I'm doing just enough, and I'm justifying that, like, but I'm filling out my steps to success. That's great, Kim. You're also trying to go presidential. So like, let's show your team that you can do more than that, because then they're doing more than that and they feel inspired. And I love how Kelsey put it, but you're literally paving the way. You're like, watch, 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 watch. Now you go through. Now you go through. Okay, yes, yes, yes. I've done it, but like, now I want to help you run through, because it's not just about you. And once you realize it's not just about you, then you will be successful. Then you will have the longevity, the actual residual income that people walk through a brick wall for, and you'll have volume that pops out of nowhere. I've seen my volume in 1 month just double. And I'm like, huh? Because I did a little more. I've never been a mass enroller. I enroll 20 to 30 customers every month, more on the 20 side. Do I do high baby enrollments? Yes. I was just on the summer camp with Tanange and Shar talking about that. But I only enroll like 15, 20 customers a month on average. Best months, maybe 30. I'm not like this massive mass enroller, but I'm doing more than I was. I was an average like 6 to 10 customers a month. Now I'm like, I'm no longer justifying that my average is okay. I'm going to do just a little bit more so that my team is doing a little bit more. And when everybody's doing a little bit more, it becomes a lot. And you're like, what just happened? And you're showing them how to win. You're showing them how to not just be okay with Ruby. When I went diamond and I was like, I made it, I was telling my sister, who was my emerald, and I was telling my Ruby that, you're good too, right? You're good because you're good. No, they weren't. They were like, wait a minute. Like, I went Ruby, but Kim, I want to go diamond, but my energy was gone. My enrollments weren't there that next month. So they were like, okay, well then, like, if that, and guess what, you guys, my sister quit. My sister quit. She was like, deuces. I'm like, she quit, and she is my best friend. Y'all see her on my stories all the time, Harley. She is my best friend. And I'm like, oh my God, I still say to her, I'm so sorry that I had to learn through you. I'm so sorry about that. Love you. Like, you're going to learn through some people, and that's a bummer, but you have to. You have to. And I like going to my team and saying, hey, like, just checking in. What can we do better as a team? And what do you need from me as a leader this month that you didn't maybe have last month? I'm just checking in on my leadership because I'm not perfect. And I want to make sure that I'm always bringing my best self to you and to the table and to the team, because I want to make sure that we're all better together. So like, just win more so that your team is winning more.
That's so good. Who just like loves this move? I seriously feel like I could just be here for like 2 more hours, just chatting it up, like just having a good time. Just pop the champagne, you know. We'll do that when you go press. I'm so pumped about that. But seriously, Kim, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna pray us out. Actually, why don't you pray us out? Yeah, go ahead, girl.
Fun fact. Oh, I've never prayed out loud. I've never prayed out loud. Oh.
Okay, it doesn't have to be super long. It can just be short and sweet to the point. Go ahead, girl.
I'm not a nervous person, but my pits just started sweating. All right, so here we go. I'm not, but I'm like, oh, you're gonna make me pray out loud for the first time. Okay, here we go. All right, Amber, let's do it. God, thank you for bringing all of these people together. Little did you know, I needed Kelsey tonight just as much as she may have needed me tonight and her team may have. I'm so thankful for our friendship. I'm so thankful for everything you've done through me and for me through this business. I didn't know I needed you 6.5 years ago, but you did, and you've been pursuing my heart ever since. And I hope that every single day and every single month you bless these men and women on her team with anything that they want to accomplish in their businesses, in their lives, amongst their family. I thank you so much for constantly showing me what better looks like and what more I can have. The abundance that you've given to me, not even just in things, but in life, has been overwhelming. And I love you so much. Everything that I've gone through, having you there with me has been the best part of the journey. So I pray for all of these men and women accomplishing things this month that they didn't think they could, but through you, they can do all things. So we love you, God, and it is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen, sister friend. That was
I just did a
amazing.
first.
That was amazing. Drop the
Yay.
mic. Okay, I seriously love you so much. Thank you for just spending your
you.
time with us. And thank you guys for hopping on and just investing in your business. I know that hopefully you left here inspired, and just know that, you know, God didn't put anything in the inside of me or Kim or any leader on here that he didn't put on the inside of you. He doesn't play favorites, and you can do this too. Your journey is going to look different. It might feel different, but we've all been through it, and we are cheering for you. So thanks, Kim. Love you.
Thank you. Love you, dude.